All right, guys, what's up? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. So, ever since the announcement, literally hours ago after I just got done with a stream, that XDefiant is going to be no more, I'm sure some of you guys have questions that need answered in terms of what's going to happen on this channel. So I thought I'd kind of address that. I did a little bit of a brief address in my previous video, but for the most part, I just wanted to just make this video just in case anybody's wondering, so that way they have a video to go to in case they need answers, because, you know, not everybody's obviously able to watch every day, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, and by the way, don't you guys think it was a douchey move of Ubisoft to basically tell people, obviously, you know, on the day that, you know, XDefiant will be shutting down, that on that same day, after that same day, that people will no longer be able to download and play XDefiant unless they've already downloaded it. So only the people that have had the game installed will be able to play it, and nobody else will. Still kind of a douchey mood to not, you know, let some people reinstall the game if they wanted to come back, especially since Season 3 is still supposed to release, despite the fact that the game's going to be dead in 6 months. But I thought that was kind of a douchey move, but whatever. I guess it's money. I guess the more people are playing it, the more it's costing them or whatnot. So I guess it's just Ubisoft being Ubisoft and trying to save money. And it's like, why continue to support a game that's going to be dead financially, right? So anyway, plus they have to give people refunds that have bought the Founders Pack or whatnot. So anyway, on to the topic of discussion today. So what's going to happen on the channel next? A lot of you guys in the comment section have been saying, hey, what do you think about this game? What do you think about this game? What do you think about that game? Would you try playing this game? Things like that. And to be honest, you know, to kind of be a little bit more clear, I want to rewind back for those of you guys that don't remember, and most of you guys probably don't remember or just never saw the video to where I kind of explained it briefly. You know, before I decided to start covering XDefiant, my channel, as far as content creation goes, was pretty much dead. I mean, the only thing I would do is I would just upload random shit, like nothing consistent, nothing random. Just didn't really care all that much. So, and then once XDefiant kind of got announced, and the specifics about the matchmaking got announced, and the fact that it was made by former COD devs, and then we obviously got some footage of the game, you know, that really sparked my interest, so to speak. And then I started making videos on it, and basically after a while, I just didn't stop. I just kept going. And my channel actually got out of the deep hole that it was in for a very long time, actually, even before I stopped doing regular Call of Duty content. And I just kept going. I enjoyed what I was doing, and I just kept going. And as of right now, there really is no other first-person shooter that really has my interest. You know, a lot of first-person multiplayer shooters, in my opinion, have really lost their touch. You know, obviously some things are still good, but at the same time, there's always that caveat, whether it's the matchmaking system or whether it's the fact that, you know, they've decided to take a franchise in a completely different direction or whatever the deal may be. As of right now, there's no multiplayer shooter that really captures my interest, except for maybe Fragpunk. I'm gonna you know, be looking at that to see what that's like. That's the only game that I could think of at the moment that's kind of like got my interest. You know, if I have the itch, I might, you know, play Halo again, but Halo's kind of gone down to shit as well. They have their own system that's kind of douchey with what they do. And, you know, so it is what it is, right? So obviously, I've already made a separate video, if not videos, talking about why, you know, why I'm not going back to COD. Simple as that. So, yeah, at this point right now, the way I see it, I've got 3 options as far as this channel is concerned. So, well, as far as content creation is concerned, actually. So, option number 1, I pull a Goliath, and shout out to my OGs out there that know Gargoyles, the Gargoyles cartoon show that was on TV. And what I mean by that is I could pull a Goliath to where this channel can basically kind of go to sleep until something of particular interest comes up, kind of like XDefiant, so to speak. Like, my channel was quote unquote asleep until XDefiant came along, and then fast forward to now, here we are. That's one option. Another option is to just not do any content on this channel at all, especially if nothing else comes up. And, you know, because I'm not gonna force myself to play a franchise or a game that I'm not interested in. So, and at the same time, looking back at it, I'm actually kind of grateful that I was able to do what I was able to do with XDefiant, because I was able to stream the way I wanted to stream, and I was able to, you know, communicate and converse with my community the way I wanted to. You know, other content creators as well, even though we didn't reach the goal, you know, in terms of the event, so to speak. But plenty of cool content creators on here, conversing with people on stream, the comment section, blah blah blah. So, and obviously, option number 3 would be to focus on my second channel. I'll leave a link in the description in case I decide to go in that direction, because as of recently, like a day or so ago on Steam, I purchased, like, they were having a lot of discounts, and I purchased, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 games or something like that. And they could have cost anywhere from 2 to 3 times as much, so I took full advantage. And the reason being is because there's always something to play. And if multiplayer shooters isn't it, then single player games are it. So I have asked myself this one question, right? Because I've become, over the last decade or so, if not close to a decade, I've become a little bit more familiar than YouTube than I was when I first started, than I was within the first 5 years, than I was within the first 3 years, et cetera, et cetera. I've become a lot more familiar with YouTube, and one of the things that I've asked myself over the last few years is, if I could start all over, what would I do? Like, if I knew then what I know now, what would I do? And the answer is more or less the same as what I'm doing now, except a little bit different. I wouldn't have stuck to one franchise, and I sure as hell wouldn't have stuck just to a multiplayer shooter or shooters. I would have been a multi-content creator. I would have done things like playthroughs, because at my core, I am a casual gamer. At my core, I enjoy single-player games a lot, especially when I'm in the mood for them. I just happened to be bitten by the multiplayer bug in my late 20s, and it kind of remained so ever since. But when this channel was previously asleep, so to speak, right, I was playing a lot of single-player games. Sometimes I'd stream them, sometimes I wouldn't. You know, I enjoy single player games, and I would like to basically go back and play the games that I missed out on, because I was doing multiplayer shooters for so long, especially with Call of Duty back when I did it. And there were a lot of games that I missed out on. Some games I didn't, but some games I did. So going back to kind of fill in the blanks would be nice, but doing it in a playthrough form on stream, while talking to people, while playing a single player game of any kind, and just finishing it from start to finish, whether it's a retro game, whether it's a modern game, whether it's a game that got released 10 years ago, whatever it is, to stream that, and then, like, in video form, do kind of like a commentary reviewing a game, and just to do that on Jack's Arcade. And then every once in a while, maybe make a retrospective video, because those 2 videos that I have on Jack's Arcade are actually, like, they took a long time to make. Like, those videos took a long time to make. It took a lot of time editing, so to speak. And I don't have the time in my work schedule to do that on a consistent basis, at least without sacrificing anything else. Like, if I were to spend that much time editing a retrospective video, I would have to, like, not stream, or I would have to, like, not do something else, whether it's in my personal life or whatever it is. And at the same time, for me, one thing I've learned in my 40 years of being in existence is that life is all about balance. Life really is all about balance in every single way you can think of. Doing anything too much is not good. You know, you're better off having a little bit of everything. So, and at the same time, that's at least what works for me. You know, even doing something that I love for so much of the day, even after a while, that can get repetitive. And on top of that, it can really kind of, like, mess with so many different aspects of your life if you let it. So having that sense of balance is important, you know, including YouTube. You know, I've always said that even if I had the opportunity, I would never do this full time, because, quite frankly, you literally have to live it. You literally have to live it. I'd rather stay in the middle, to where it's like I always have the option to back off and not be a whore to the algorithm, or not be a whore to the system, and just kind of live my life on my terms, including content creation. Because for people that do this sort of thing full time, they they always have that in mind. They always have the algorithm in mind. They're always thinking about viewers, viewer counts, and stuff like that. And even for the people that are able to live the rest of their life without having to work a single day for the rest of their life because they've managed to save millions. We're talking about the top guys that are the top streamers and the top content creators, the guys who have millions of subs, you know, tens of thousands of viewers, even those guys. Those guys are, they're all about the grind, and it's like, they're doing it as if they were going to be broke tomorrow or something like that, which isn't the case. It could be very addictive, but at the same time, it could be something that literally takes over your life. And in my opinion, I don't believe that would be the best way to go at it for me personally, even if that was an option for me. So for me, the third option overall were to do, just to stream games from start to finish on stream, record the footage, and then kind of make a video in commentary style, kind of reviewing the game or just talking about the game. Doing any sort of super duper fancy editing would just be like way too time consuming, especially when you take everything else into consideration. And not being a full-timer and not wanting to be a full-timer ever, and having 2 jobs and all that other stuff, and wanting to keep the balance in my life. Those things are important too. So, and like I mentioned on stream, XDefiant being down is sad. It can be saddening. It can be depressing. But when you think about all the stuff you have to worry about in your life, like in real life, the stuff that's truly important in real life, I've got bigger things to worry about. I've got bigger things to worry about. I got more people to worry about, So any one of these 3 options that I mentioned in this video are up for grabs, and I'm going to do whatever I feel is best. I'm certainly not going to force any content. I've said it before and I've said it again, and I'll say it again. If you're forcing content, you are on a path to failure, and you're on a path to disappointment, bitterness, and all that kind of stuff. And it's not the way to go. I already did that with COD before, and I'm not doing that again with anything else that I choose to do or not do on here. So if it means putting content creation down and streaming down for a period of time, or maybe even forever, then so be it. Life has a funny way of, or should I just say it has its way of kind of steering you in the direction that it wants you to go. Here in this life, one thing that I've learned is that you can only control so much. You can't control everything, no matter how hard you try. And if anybody says otherwise, they're just, respectfully speaking, they're just too young to know the difference. And then one day, they're going to get hit by life, and they're going to be like, oh, this is what this person was talking about. I know this because that's exactly what happened to me, because when you're young, you feel invincible. You feel invincible. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to get old. I'm not going to this. I'm not going to that. But lo and behold, years go by, and you start to see things a little bit differently from a different perspective than you did when you were younger, right? So, and looking back on XDefiant and looking at it now, in terms of what's going to happen right this moment, I am going to play the game and stream the game as much as I possibly can before the game goes down, before the servers are no longer supported, because I enjoy playing the game. I've had some people coming into my chat that are basically saying, why the hell would you grind a dead game? And the answer is, well, number one, it's not dead yet, not until the servers go down, right? But number 2, the game is fun to play. And that's the number. Like, there's no way in hell I would have 630 some plus hours, being the top 100 players in the United States in terms of time played, nearly the top 50, mind you, right? Without having fun. No way. I didn't play Call of Duty all that much, especially after Modern Warfare, especially from Modern Warfare 2019 through Vanguard, which was the last Call of Duty I played, and I only played that one for 2 weeks or so. So it's like, the reason why you grind a game, is because you enjoy it, because you have fun. It's not, for me personally, it's not about whether or not the game gives you something to do and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, those things do make a difference, but for me, at its core, it's about how the game feels. The dopamine the game gives me by, accomplishing whatever it is that the game is setting out for me to accomplish. So for me, XDefiant was scratching that itch perfectly. And, I am going to continue to fill that void until that option is no longer there. And then after the servers go down, one of 3 things are going to happen that I mentioned in this video. I'm either going to pull a Goliath and then, completely just put this channel to sleep until something of interest pops up, and then just kind of resume from there, or just not make content on this at all in general, or I can just focus on my second channel. So, part of me says that I would like to do what I would want to do on my second channel over here, but trust me when I tell you, it's with YouTube, you're gonna build an audience by just making a new channel because you're doing something completely different, even faster than you would on a channel that's been doing something different, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I know this channel has its monetization, and it's already established with a certain amount of viewership and all that kind of stuff, but it's all centered around XDefiant or / multiplayer shooters, and the ones that I was covering for most of the time when being on here was Call of Duty and XDefiant. The other multiplayer shooters that I spent time on were very brief in comparison. So basically, at this point, that is where we're at right now. And for now, we're just going to grind the game and play XDefiant and see what happens. And who knows? You never know. This channel may not go to sleep at all, because if something ends up releasing before, or around the time that XDefiant goes down, as far as the servers are concerned, I might actually end up picking up something else that I enjoy, and wham bam. I mean, Fragpunk is a game that I've been looking into. But all the other games that you guys have mentioned, such as Fortnite or other battle royales, or the finals, or some of the other games that you guys have been telling me about, it's the one that's similar to Battlefield or whatnot. I don't remember the name. I apologize. But I have no interest in those games. So Splitgate 2 is another one that I kind of have my mind on, because I enjoyed the first one, but at the same time, it got very it lost its fun factor for me, because again, it's not an arcade arena shooter again. But if they changed a few things up to where it's more appealing to me, then okay. I didn't play the beta when they had it out, but that's fine. I was too deep into XDefiant, and no regrets whatsoever. But we'll see. When that releases, and when Fragpunk releases, we can obviously try those out. But if they're not for me, then I won't cover them. But yeah. But looking back though, as I close here, because this video is definitely run its course, it was a blast to receive my little slice of YouTube success. It really was, because for the longest ass time, it was very how do I put this? It was very bittersweet. But then it just ended up being sweet, and it was kind of good to experience that, So if this channel ends up going down, because I've decided to go in that direction, then it was nice to have that, and it was nice to, build a community, or help build a community, be in touch with other content creators, watching them doing what they do, streaming and all that kind of stuff. It's a privilege. It's a privilege, and that's how I look at it. So, but yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to basically keep, touch base with you guys, and just tell you what's in my head and what the plans are. So and it could go in either direction. So, but yeah, with that being said, as always, I'm very appreciative for you guys taking the time to listen, to watch, and yeah, this channel wouldn't have been where it is right now if it wasn't for you guys and XDefiant, and that will always remain the truth. And yeah, so thank you for everything. So with that being said, guys, it's been a 19-minute video, and I think I'm going to end it here. So as always, I like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen, and I'll catch you guys hopefully again sometime.